For today's video, I wanted to talk to you about something very personal. I wanted to talk to you about YouTube pressure and kind of what happened after I got internet famous and how I dealt with that, because very positive things happened, but very negative things also happened. And I've never really been at a place where I could talk about those things. And you know, it's one of those things, it's never gonna be the right time. And there have been other things in my life and other traumas that I've never, spoken about or come to terms with. And this year has been something, it's a goal of mine that I really want to do. And something over maybe the past year or so is that I've been a lot more inauthentic on YouTube. I stopped talking about myself. I stopped talking about my struggles. You guys are my YouTube family. And the reason that I started YouTube is because I had acne. I was being bullied in school. I had to switch schools and I had nobody to talk to. And you wake up every day hating yourself when you look in the mirror and you can't even handle, the reflection staring back at you. And YouTube was my way of talking about that. It was this secret, but it was this community where I could speak to other people and learn tips and share my own struggles and tips and tricks and things like that. And even if I was just doing a makeup tutorial, it was me expressing something or being able to talk to people in comments. YouTube has changed. There was a big transition from when it was just me talking to that camera being really authentic, and then boom, things kind of exploded. My original acne video got picked up by Good Morning America and the Today Show, which was amazing, and I would do that 100 times over again. I was able to share this message that I feel so deeply about and share my story and struggle and meet so many other people who have that same issue. That has honestly allowed me to love myself without makeup and to accept myself in so many other ways. And this was even a little bit predating when I did go on Good Morning America and stuff. When I started doing YouTube, I felt all this pressure to be like these other girls. These other girls had perfect skin. They had a boyfriend who would film for them. They had expensive shoes, a fancy car, all these things. And being someone who was so insecure, I really felt the need to be accepted by that. And even though that was different than my everyday life, like the people in my life, I went to a high school where if you didn't get a Porsche for your 16th birthday, then you were a loser. And so materialism was always kind of part of my life, and it played a very negative role. And when I started doing YouTube, I put this pressure on myself that was very materialism driven. And when I hated myself, when I hated my acne, at least I had expensive things, right? At least I could show off that I had, an expensive car, an expensive pair of shoes, or an expensive handbag. And I tried to put myself into this box when I started doing YouTube because I wanted to fit in with all these other girls who did makeup tutorials, and I didn't fit in my own life. And so I wanted to be like them. And my insecurities were so bad that I couldn't accept and love myself, so I had to be someone that I wasn't. And that's kind of hard, because how do you say that you were someone that you weren't? If I'm sitting here pretending that I'm gonna have a fancy car and expensive things, and I'm sitting here pretending that I look good in makeup and pretending that I have this perfect boyfriend and this perfect relationship, if I'm actually doing it, is it really pretending? Yes, it's being fake and it's inauthentic, but is it really pretending? Because you're doing it. And I'm shaking, it's something that I struggled with a lot. Trying to impress my family. I couldn't go to the breakfast table in the morning without makeup on. I couldn't even be around family unless I felt like I had something to present, because me, wasn't enough. And that has always been an issue, and I don't blame YouTube for that, but once I started YouTube and once YouTube started taking off, that pressure magnified. All of a sudden, it went from, this is my little Cassandra Bankson vlog, we're gonna talk about pimples and acne and poop, to, oh my God, the entire world is watching me. There are 8-year-olds out there who are telling me they look up to me. There are parents who are telling me that I've helped their kids, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm Cassandra. I am not a superhero. People are trusting me. People are listening to me. People are looking up to me. I need to be perfect. And my existing underlying forms of materialism and insecurities and traumas that I had pushed under the rug just a year before. I was homeless a year before I started YouTube, and just pushing all that stuff underneath this thing, and I'm like ripping these pieces off of me. I'm just like, oh my God, I need to cover up these pieces again. I need to put this shield on myself. Everyone thinks I'm perfect, I need to maintain that standard. And when people started saying they looked up to me, that was one of the most amazing things. That was like, oh my God, I've made a difference in someone else's life. I've helped someone. This is great. This is cool. But then, oh my God, I need to uphold this. I don't want to let anyone down. And I started feeling so much guilt. I've always had an issue with guilt. I've always been a very guilty person for things that are outside of my control. And when I was 16, a situation that logically I know is not my fault, but at the same time I feel like I'm always gonna blame myself for, happened. And that guilt has just traveled with me everywhere, and it's something that I continually need to work on fixing. But guilt has always been a major part of my life, and I almost felt this guilt if I couldn't be perfect for someone. You know, you can get 99 positive comments, but if you get one negative comment, that will sit with you. And I would stay up until 4 in the morning trying to fix myself, making sure my nail polish was perfect, making sure my hair looked perfect, making sure that I was pushing a relationship that I was not safe in. Physically, emotionally, mentally. I was staying in a very negative place, putting on a happy face because I thought that's what my family, what YouTube, what my new friends wanted from me, that I needed to do for myself. And it was all of these guilt things building on top of each other, and that's probably why my acne was so bad. Like, look at how stressed I was, not taking care of myself, living very inauthentically, and just this pressure. I don't say swear words. I completely stopped swearing. When I was younger, I was a total potty mouth, and there was a period in my life where I did not say a single swear word for probably 4 years because I felt like these 8-year-olds are watching me on YouTube and they need to have this perfect example, and I need to be this perfect person, and I need to be that for my family. I have a younger brother who has struggled with issues, mental issues, physical issues, substance issues, and I'm the big sister. I'm the good one. I went to college. I'm getting a degree. I have to be perfect. I have to be an example for him. And of course, my family wasn't actually putting that pressure on me, but I felt that and I put that pressure on myself. And it was just like, oh my God, I need to be perfect. I need to be this example. And that honestly killed me. It shut me off because I was living inauthentically. It's like, is it inauthentic because you're doing it, you're living this life, but it's not what your calling is. And because of that, I stopped communicating. Stopped talking about my needs, stopped talking about myself. I finally got rid of that relationship that was extraordinarily toxic, which was extremely difficult for me because I felt like I needed this person in more ways than one. I was very twisted in that relationship, but I especially felt like this person is my image, or these items are my image, or this job, or this car, or these friends are my image, and if I do not have these things, then I am worthless, which is totally not true. And I've really come through over the last year or so to accepting that and accepting myself. And there are so many things about myself and things that have happened to me that I have not really ever addressed, and things that I've carried with me and worn on my skin for years that I do not talk about, because if you can't even think about it with getting emotional and literally shaking, how are you supposed to address that and talk about that in real life? So here's Cassandra Bankson having a mental breakdown on the interwebs. Yeah, that's my life. And over the past year, I have taken time to nurture myself. I was in a relationship with someone who I loved very dearly in 2014. And that was like the first relationship I had had since leaving that very toxic relationship. And that relationship was a huge step for me in many ways, but it was also very negative. And the person that I was with did not respect or support me or what I did. And so here come my insecurities coupled with someone who doesn't really support the things I do or support me fully. And I just hit rock bottom. And so thank God after that relationship, which was very loving in different ways, and it was a good relationship. This was a person who had their own psychiatric disabilities, and that coupled with my tendencies, my negative coping skills, my psychiatric issues, it was just a bad mix because we were both very unstable, and this person was tearing me down while at the same time I was trying to build them up and trying to build myself up, but also tearing myself down because of my insecurities. And so it wasn't the right time or the right place. And thank God I gave myself time after that, and I gave myself like a year, and just kind of trying to understand myself, accept myself, realizing that there are things that I can't change, realizing that there is trauma from the past that is affecting who I am today, that is something I need to deal with. And then finding things about myself that for 5 years, I could not view myself as a positive, wonderful person. It was always I had to have things, I had to have people, I had to have relationships, I had to have items, I had to have fame, I had to have whatever. And just realizing that, you know what, I am human and it is okay for me to make mistakes. It is okay for me. I am perfectly fine just the way I am, and accepting love from people. When I love so hard. And I'm not just talking about relationships, I'm saying family, friends, my cousin. I love so hard, and it makes me emotional because it's like this feeling. I'm an empath. I am a person who pours my soul into people. But I never allow that love to come back to me. And learning, you have to love yourself in order to receive love from others. And it's been such an emotional journey for me, because in accepting my flaws and in accepting these things about me that I just can't change, that have been a part of me since I can remember, accepting that and accepting that I don't have to be perfect and I just have to be good enough for me, is just like, you start feeling love from other people. Especially recently, I started feeling the love that I have given to other people. I felt that, and I didn't even realize that other people could love me the way that I love them. And my cousin, my friends, my family, feeling that love and that connection, YouTube, feeling that pour in has just been the most amazing thing. And so I do apologize that I cut my YouTube family off. I do apologize that I have lived inauthentically online trying to fluff myself up. I apologize for not opening up. I apologize for not talking to my friends, for not explaining to my friends. I was in an 8-month relationship and I didn't tell my best friend of 9 years and my best friend Maya from New York, who have been with me for 5 years. I was in a relationship for 8 months and I didn't even tell them because of how insecure I was. And yes, it was an insecure relationship, but it's like, wow, 2014, 2015, you know, and then with my grandfather dying, this just life. But yeah, that is the pressure that I have felt on YouTube, this pressure to be perfect, this pressure to be someone that I'm not. And I'm just stripping that all away. I'm done with it. And you know what? I'm good enough for me, and I have people who love me, and I love myself. And you know what? If that's not good enough for someone else, and if I say shit on the internet and someone's 8-year-old is watching, I'm sorry. Please filter yourself. Do as I say, not as I do. I'm not a perfect person, and of course I can be professional and I try to maintain that, but you know what? I'm a human, I make mistakes, I like to go trespassing, I may not drink or smoke, but you know what? I hang out with people who do, and sorry, not sorry, hashtag sorry, not sorry, that's what this video is. But yeah, that's just something I really wanted to share because it's something that I have kept within myself and never opened up about. So yeah, that's Cassandra for you. So thank you guys for listening to me whine. If you got to this point in this video, please leave a comment saying hashtag vegan bacon so I know that someone gives a shit about me. Oops, did I say shit? Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for listening to me and constantly supporting me and being a part of this journey with me. And I know I focused on a lot of negatives here, but there are so many positives. And if it weren't for you, I would never be able to love myself. I would never have gone through these experiences. I would never realize that I could connect to complete strangers and build lasting friendships. I've known some people for 5 years from the internet who are now some of my best friends in real life. And without you, I don't know who I would be. Not just like on YouTube or fame or anything, but as a person, I would not be a fraction of who I am today. And having a place to share my struggles and to absorb other people's struggles and to work on that together is the most beautiful blessing that has ever come into my life. And I think I can honestly say that. So thank you. I love you, and I'm gonna not cry. So yeah, I post new videos every Monday and every Thursday. If you guys want to talk about this, talk to me in the comments, talk to me about your own struggles. Tell me what video you want next, because I don't want to live underneath a shield or a veil of perfectionism anymore. I love you guys, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next video. Mwah. Bye.